Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about something we see every single day, but probably never really think about: the walls in our homes and offices. I mean, they're just walls, right? But what if I told you the way we've been building them for decades is kind of all wrong?
I mean, just think about it for a second. First, you get the framers. Then you sheathe it. Then you wrap it. Then you insulate it. It's this whole complicated dance, right? You got different crews, tons of materials, all these inspections. It just makes you wonder, with all the amazing tech we have today, why is building a simple wall still such a hassle? Okay, so let's dive into the real problems with the way we build walls now. These are the issues that, the industry just kind of shrugs off as the cost to doing business. But these things, they hit us right in the wallet, they mess up our schedules, and they can even affect our safety. And I'm sure some of this is going to sound familiar, right? Sky-high energy bills, building projects that seem to take forever, and that constant worry in the back of your mind about stuff like mold or what happens in a big storm. All these headaches, they all come from this piecemeal way of building things, which, surprise, surprise, creates a ton of weak spots.
And a huge part of the problem, maybe the biggest villain in this whole story, is something called thermal bridging. So you can pack the best insulation in the world between the wooden studs in your wall, but the studs themselves, they act like little superhighways for heat. Heat just zips right through them, escaping in the winter and flooding in during the summer. It's a massive flaw that basically undermines all that expensive insulation.
So, keeping all those problems in mind, let's look at a totally different approach. This is the SRD MGO wall system, and it's designed from the ground up to solve those exact issues by rethinking what a wall even is.
The whole idea really boils down to this super simple but incredibly powerful concept. Instead of building a wall piece by piece out in the field, what if all the important parts were already built into one single panel, right from the factory? So what are those key functions? Well, this one panel gives you the structural skeleton and the high-performance insulation and a complete barrier against moisture and air and the tough, impact-rated skin on the outside. You're literally taking 4 huge, time-consuming jobs and squishing them into one.
Okay, so how on earth does one panel do all of that? Well, it all comes down to some really clever patented technology. So let's pull one of these panels apart and see what's going on inside.
Here it is, an exploded view of the whole system. You can immediately see how these different layers are engineered to work together as a team. You've got your exterior cladding, then that critical sheathing layer, the foam insulation, the steel frame, and then the interior wallboard. Let's take a closer look at a few of the most important layers. Right at the heart of it, you have this galvanized light-gauge steel frame. This is the backbone, what gives the wall all its strength. But check this out, it's got these pre-punched holes. Now that might not seem like a big deal, but for electricians and plumbers, that is a game changer. It saves them a ton of time and hassle on site. It's built to make their jobs easier. Okay, next up is the closed cell spray foam. Now this does more than just keep the building warm or cool. Because it's closed cell, it literally can't absorb water, so it creates this perfect, unbroken seal against both moisture and air. That's how you fight mold and mildew before they even start. And this is the secret weapon against that thermal bridging problem we talked about. This continuous layer of sheathing sits on the outside of the steel studs. That creates what's called a thermal break, which is basically a dead end for that escaping heat. It can't use the studs as a highway anymore. It's such a simple idea but has a huge effect on energy efficiency.
All right, so we've seen the nuts and bolts of how it's made, but what does all this smart engineering actually mean for someone building a house or a homeowner living in it? Let's talk about the real-world benefits, because this is where it gets really, really cool.
Yeah, just let that number sink in for a minute. By getting rid of thermal bridging and making the building incredibly airtight, this system can slash energy costs by 50 to 80%. That is a massive difference in how much it costs to own a building over its lifetime.
And the benefits go way beyond your power bill. The materials themselves are inorganic. That means no food for termites, no dry rot, and nowhere for mold to grow. The system's also designed to flex and absorb energy from things like hurricanes or even earthquakes. And on top of all that, it's non-combustible, so it's incredibly fire-safe. We're talking about a fundamentally tougher, more resilient way to build. Now, for the builders out there, the biggest win is just pure speed. Because these are big, pre-made panels, a small crew can just tilt them up into place really quickly. That means you need fewer workers, you create way less waste on site, you have fewer inspections to schedule, and you can shrink the whole construction timeline dramatically. And as we all know, time is money. Now you might be thinking, is this a one-size-fits-all kind of deal?
And the answer is no. The system is actually designed to be flexible, so you can adapt it for different climates, different needs, and different building codes. There are a few different models to choose from.
This chart gives you a quick side-by-side. You can see you've got different sheathing options, like EPS foam or the super strong MgO, which is magnesium oxide board. But what I really want you to look at is that last column, max wind pressure. See the huge jump in strength from the standard models to the plus models? That shows you how this system can be beefed up to handle some serious weather, even in hurricane zones.
So when you start putting all these pieces together, the crazy energy efficiency, the incredible durability, the speed of construction, you start to see that this is about more than just a wall. It's a picture of a smarter, more sustainable way to build, period.
And that sustainability works on two levels. From an environmental standpoint, you're getting very little waste, you're using recycled materials, and you have a much lower carbon footprint. But just as important is the financial sustainability. With those huge energy savings and its long-term durability, this system can give you the absolute lowest total cost of ownership over the life of the building. It's good for the planet and your bank account.
This quote really just nails it, doesn't it? By rolling 4 jobs into one high-tech product, it's a complete shift away from the slow, complicated way we've been doing things for generations.
And that really brings us to the final big question. If we have technology that lets us build structures that are stronger, faster to put up, way more energy efficient, and cheaper to own in the long run, it really makes you wonder why we do it any other way. Thanks for tuning in.